Our president Ron. Today the anime we will be reviewing is Log Horizon. Now Log Horizon, it's one of those newer animes you seem to find where a bunch of gamers get locked in a video game that was not virtual reality. And now they have to figure out what's going on, how did they end up here, and how did they get home. And we watched, what, maybe the first couple
episodes.
I think we watched more than 4 episodes.
No, we watched the 4 episodes.
Really?
I counted.
Oh, I thought we watched farther. Well, let's start with our initial opinions on it. Anyone would like to start?
I'll start things off. People have often called Log Horizon the better version of Sword Art Online, but I'm sad to say I'm going to have to disagree with them because, well, the thing about SAO was that the stakes were a lot higher and you would die if you killed. Here, you just restart in the cathedral and that's it. I understand maybe they want to put more emphasis on mystery solving, which is good and all, but a problem I have with this game is that, with this animation, is that I think they focus a little too hard on the game mechanics than the actual character development. Now, maybe this comes around in later episodes, but that's what I got from watching the first 4 episodes. So, next in line, please.
Yeah, I guess my opinions are sort of the same as Alec. It feels like a slightly watered down version of SAO. I feel like it's like almost trying to be the same thing as SAO, but it's kind of, I don't know, because the stakes aren't as high, unless they are, and we just haven't seen that yet. Shoosh. But, like, I don't know. Next.
Yeah, going off that, yeah, I gotta agree with what's been said. Having seen this show, both its first season and second season, I will say it definitely, despite what people say, SAO does feel more to be a more better anime to me for numerous reasons. Not just going the fact, yes, they can die in this anime and still come back to life. And while, yes, there is a stake revealed, it's something still not as fearful as SAO, even in SAO's later seasons, I will admit. And other things, well, they're definitely, I will say that the show does show more about the gameplay, which something is refreshing SAO. Fortunately, they also skip off some major MMO gameplay ideas. Like in one of the first fights at the end, you see level 90s fighting 35s, and we all know, all of us gamers know that there's only one way that fight's gonna go. And they try to make it like it's gonna be a fight, but they use the wrong kind of material.
Right.
A level 90's gonna curb stomp a 35, but 35's not gonna stop. Also, they go through, their story shows to be kind of weak, if you ask me.
Yes, I would actually agree with this. The thing, I hate to bring up SAO again, but it's just inevitable in this case. With SAO, there was, in every character, everyone was always nervous and worried about whether or not they would survive in this, and everyone was always on their edge of their seat. Even in the positive scenes, there was always a shadow of fear among them. But here, it's just, we're trapped in the game world, let's just go with it. Let's go and solve this out. And my response was, you guys aren't scared, you guys aren't worried, you're trapped in a virtual reality with no way out. Shouldn't you be a little more on edge?
Yeah, but going off that, some of the things with the story is they find out they can die by the second episode, and even other things like, oh, the Sarah's little girl, she's in trouble, but throughout the entire thing, there's actual no trouble happening to her. Right. She gets saved by the cat instantly.
Probably don't want to go in too far this, lest we risk any spoilers for those who haven't seen the anime yet.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
or for those of us in the club who want to see it.
So far, we haven't actually said anything that's past the fourth episodes.
Yes.
Good, and keep it there, please, because
But from what I've seen in the first few episodes, it looks like they're like most games tutorial episodes where it explains sort of the mechanics. Like in the first few episodes, they mention what kind of classes are in the game itself that differ from warrior to assassin to all that sort of things.
They also talked at least two. Well, as a WoW player, I do know at least two of like the specs or what they call jobs. Is they mentioned tank and healer. The only one missing is DPS. But yeah, they do at least show those. Which again, they show gameplays, which is one thing I'll admit they do better than SAO. But the unfortunate that doesn't make it better. I mean, they still have a way slow story start, and frankly, everything gets resolved way too quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I mean, SAO puts the actual gameplay on the sideline and focuses more on the characters and the story. But since you've seen the whole anime, or at least the first two episodes, would you still recommend this? Because does it actually get better as it goes on?
Well, not everything gets solved so quickly, and they do get back to the part of trying to figure out their way home, but there's other things but mostly it stays the same, basically, if you ask me.
If anything, this anime is starting to look more like a mix between drama, adventure, and comedy, and not so much action.
Yeah, and it also doesn't help with me. The anime seems to actually, the traits that SAO is brought up to have, like its main character is a Mary Sue, and he always wins, and he has a harem.
I don't think they've seen that yet.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just gonna say those traits, you might see a little bit of it, but
Well,
yeah.
but the truth is, not all of them are actually true. He does have some failures, and he does have to cope with guilt, defeat, and even the frustration of not being strong. So he thinks he's wait. But with these characters, we never got any part where they had to cope with guilt, defeat, or frustration of not being as strong as they think they should be, or unless that comes in a later episode. But in SAO, despite all the backlash people say about this, it's not entirely correct. Go and watch it and see for yourself if you want to.
It's overhyped, but with Log Horizon, that's not the case. Even the parts when the main character loses, he still wins.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, even in some cases, one of the first episodes, the PvPers, we see them, they have an advantage because they have a healer. I don't remember if they said the levels, but I'm pretty sure their levels were lower than them anyways.
Yeah.
Again, still, Shiro and his group win by pure strategy, which I mean, you do say it's an interesting strategy, but it's like incredibly weird.
Yes, yes, I would agree. I mean, I do like battles that are won by skill and strategy, and rather than sheer luck, which I've seen way too many of in the past. But I would agree it could be handled better, and maybe if luck's on our side, if we decide to rewatch it, it will get weaker as that goes on. But I guess what I meant is it'll improve the strategy.
If anything, the main character in the show, Shiro, seems like the cold, calculating, logical type who focuses on strategy rather than full frontal attacks. And if you ask me, if he put his mind to it, he would actually be a very terrifying villain.
No, definitely. Yeah. But his strategies also come up with like the weird, even some things that like are so freaking weird. He still wins because just either coincident or just because it happens at the right time.
Yeah.
And I've talked enough for now. Jeff, Chris, do you have anything to say? Nothing you particularly talk the least out of all of us?
Opinions, I guess?
If you guys want to already do it.
Well,
does anyone have anything positive to say?
I do like the animation, and the action is decent, and I think some of the comedy is good, but it's still not enough. I think this is one of those animes where I do want to like it, but what I got in the first 4 episodes isn't enough. I might try to rewatch the whole thing, but as of right now, Sword Art Online is still probably the best video game MMORPG themed anime, and don't listen to the backlash people are getting. It's a lot better than people say it is.
I'll even say Overlord's better than that. That one even has Overlord is better than this, and that one's main character being overpowered makes sense. Heck, even SAO has better perverted characters.
Although adding for the series the fantasy creatures named like elves and animal-human hybrids, I think that was kind of a nice touch.
It was a nice
It's,
touch, and
it's not uncommon in other fantasy. I mean, the cat man reminded me of the Khajiit from the Elder Scrolls game series.
yeah, not to like, or however you pronounce that guy's damn name. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with these names.
Just call him the cat guy.
The cat, the cook,
Or just the Khajiit.
Okay, no one's gonna get that.
Why
I'll
not
call
just
him the
call
cook.
him
Because,
Chief?
yeah, chief. But you know that never makes sense where he got that name. But yeah, like there's something, and you do see some cool interactions, at least with the friends. But that only goes so far. I mean, like some of the characters come off like Marie comes off a little too stalkerish, but not in the jovial way that's kind of sweet.
Yes, I mean, if I saw someone in the street, I would probably direct him to a mental hospital.
I wouldn't do that with any of these people, but there's people I think I can do that. All right,
Should we just move on to the voting then?
voting.
Yeah, right. Final result: 2 stars out of 4. I mean, 2 stars out of 5. Sorry, I keep forgetting.
2.5 Akatsuki kicks.
What would I?
Let's just get back to you. I guess I'll go with 4 out of 5, mostly because I'm a fan of animes that involve gaming, but I think it's a bit too comedic, so I'm sticking with 4 out of 5.
Yeah, like 3.5 out of 5. SAO is way better than this.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
I think we just pushed more fans towards SAO than this one.
I think
What
that's
about your score?
I think that's a good idea.
Yes, 3.5.
And maybe you should tell the people watching this what your thoughts about this are.
You
Jeff.
didn't really say anything.
Yeah, just the camera guy.
That's rude.
Should I? You want one of us to hold it for you? Or what do you?
Also, I'm going to change my score to 3. Maybe 2.5 is a little too low. And it has its moments, but yeah, but it's still, I'd rather watch SAO or Overlord.
Never watched Overlord. Maybe we should watch that sometime.
Let's say that for another discussion.
Yeah.
Yes, we're done. That's the end of this review. See you for next time.